Patrick's gotta make us live. Takes a minute. Good. We're on? Good. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the March New Windsor Town Board Workshop. Before we get started, get everybody to stand, please, for the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. All right, before we get started, I got the entire board here with us. I got Councilman Steve Moreau, Councilwoman Sylvia Santiago, Councilwoman Eve Lincoln, Councilman, the man behind the mask, Charles Bro. We got our Highway Superintendent Anthony Fayo. I got our Police Chief Dan Valeri with us, the Town Attorney Dave Zagon, our lovely Town Clerk Patricia Clarino. I also have our Receiver of Taxes, Susan Scheibel. All right, the first thing on the agenda here was, I know there's two of these were from last month, but I just want to give you the first one, the 334 Avenue Americas Building 2420. This is a standalone building out at the airport. We were, since the January meeting, I had mentioned that the building was open and for rent. I received a phone call from, like I said last time, that a former town employee, Frank Volpe, who has a gym also on MacArthur, was looking to put a private club out there, basically a cigar club. Last month we couldn't get it in, so this month, it was we gave him a lease. I believe the town attorney and Frank have hammered out the lease as far as insurances go, right, Dave? We're all good with that? Pretty much.
I mean, we're still working on it a little.
So yeah,
Hear back from Frank.
so we're just hammering out some limits and stuff on insurance. In order for him to even get it, we'd have to put it in a motion for this month, and it has to sit for 30 days for a permissive referendum. And if just like we did with the hair room down here, with that, and then if there's no issues with that, then we can vote on the following month and allow them in there. I think everybody there has a copy of the lease, so you can certainly, if you got any questions now, we'll talk about it, or if you want to just take a peek at it. We got plenty of time to talk about it. But that's and so the terms is just a three-year lease. First year is $2,000, second year is $2,500 a month, and the third year is $3,000. The last 2 years are options of his if he determines he's going to make it or not. The reason I did the first year a little less. It's a new business to try to get them established. The building's been empty for a couple of years now, so it's only going to be profit for us regardless. And now he can pay to heat it and do any repairs there. So again, like I said, if you got any questions or any issues, just give me a shout. We can talk about that. The 334 Avenues America is officially cleared out, clean. This is the building is. We changed the locks. We have it now. Matter of fact, we have a couple of vehicles stored inside the garage area there. Since our last meeting, we talked about the Stewart Gym, and we put some for sale signs up in the Stewart Gym. I've gotten a few phone calls about this particular building. People asking me about looking for like 4,000 square foot. So I kind of turned them onto this. They've gone up and looked at it. There is some interest. If you look at the document, I think I left you guys there. Todd put a valuation on it, what he's looking for. What he thinks would be a good market rate for it, which is about $3,000 per month. I would certainly, if I get somebody that would be willing to rent it, I certainly would look to help them out to get them in there. However, if you look at the second page, we do need some work for a roof. So a particular guy that was looking to be a tenant said he's in the construction business, said he would be willing to sign on there. Said he'd be willing to do it. He said he would even be willing to maybe do the work for the roof, which is about $40,000. So we would have to work something out in the rent firm to see if we can barter with him. But I'm gonna throw, like I did the Stewart Gym, which I received several phone calls on. I'm gonna throw a couple signs up in this building and see if we can get some good new business with that. And then, like I said, that's about 4,000 square foot, and that'd be another 3,000 a month. That's probably up twice what we were getting from the former tenant. So, the comptroller's liking me trying to get some revenue in by renting all these buildings, so if I keep her happy, we'll all be happy. The third thing on the, this is a bonding agreement. So this costs nothing to us. This just actually retains the bonding council for us. We will be doing some bonding this year. We have like the sewer project going on. If we do some additional road paving or stuff like that. Again, this costs us nothing, but it also saves us time. So if we agreed with them to pass a motion, if you will, to retain them in the event we need them. We don't have to jump through any hoops to get, wait a month or 2 months to get it approved. We can just do that. So that's just the bonding agreement with these firm here. Just the comp alliance thing, the next thing on there, this is just happened to, we received, normally we get like two awards a year, if you will. This year, we're getting 49, almost $5,000 back for loyalty awards. We usually get, it's not often you get money back from your insurance company. So we're getting like 5,000 back for, like I said, for loyalty. Normally the second check is close to 20,000. It's like a safe workplace type thing. So as we're go injury free, the less injuries we have, the more money we get. So hopefully that number climbs a little bit too, but I just want to make you aware of that. So we've been doing pretty well with that. So the Verizon, I have Verizon on here. So I've received several phone calls. I know the former supervisor has too, and I think the ones before that, in reference to Verizon. I think we all know that we have, New Windsor has Spectrum for TV. I'm getting a lot of phone calls. People want to see us get Verizon in to have, so they can have a TV service. I spoke to this guy, Mr. Windrum from Verizon. He's been there for several years. He and I will certainly furnish his phone number and his email. He said, give it to whoever has any questions. So a lot of people are questioning why we don't have their TV. Verizon is just choosing not to build out at all. So anything from the thruway overpass east will all have FiOS at some point. No TV. It just will be for internet or phone, but they will not build out for TV. He said it's just not worth it. They have to put a lot of money in their infrastructure to allow it, and they're just not willing to do it. We do have a lot of people are under, they say we have a franchise agreement with Spectrum. We do for TV, but we can have 15 franchise agreements. We don't need, just because we have one for Spectrum come in, we signed it with them for TV. If Verizon were to come in, I asked Dave, I know it's not high on our list, but we're going to send Verizon probably a letter just requesting that they give us TV. They're going to, tell us no. And then in that event, that'll go in the file. But I know George Myers had asked for this, and he had one of his associates here looking at it, and it's the same answer all the time. So they're just Verizon is not willing to build out their phone infrastructure. So
they said, I'm sorry, did they want to build the cable? I guess that's FiOS, right?
Yeah.
Do they want to go beyond the thruway or no?
So we talked about it, and he says, so if you go, as soon as you go into the thruway overpass on the right hand side, there's a Verizon building. I think that building there is the one that needs the work. There are some spotty west of the thruway overpass that have it, but they're not even going to do it out there.
And that's a wire that's run, right?
Yeah, they're not even going to do it out there as well. So he said if it changes, he's supposed to come in my office in the next, within the next month or so, or he's going to give us a map. He actually, technically can't give me the map, but he's going to show me some things that, where they're building that, why. And it's kind of important that I kind of keep on their good side too, because we use them for pole attachments for the cameras, the spanner program I want to do. So, I just want to keep them looped in and just tell them what we want. And the interest would be a TV and not just FiOS, but I can't make them do it, but we can try. Five Corners. So as everybody knows, this has been kind of a thorn in our side, the old Hess station. The old fish place there next to McDonald's. So just when you come into New Windsor on either Five Corners or 94, it's the first thing you see, and it's frustrating. So I reached out to the property owner of the Five Corners, the old Hess station. I spoke to him for a little bit, and I asked him if he would be willing to take the building down. He's in the planning board stages now, trying to get approval to put a building there. He's looking to do, there's, a business on top. Was supposed to be some sort of beer garden and rooftop. I'm not, the rendering looks nice. I don't know, he's in the planning stages. Nonetheless, the thing's been abandoned for I don't know how long. And it's just, I'm tired of looking at it.
Awful,
So
yeah.
Mhm.
he said, if you can give me some sort of guarantees that he wouldn't lose his setbacks and stuff on where he is on his
Mhm.
property, he'd be willing to do it. He goes, I'll take it down tomorrow. So it was actually on the planning board agenda on February 14th. He was on the agenda. His engineer was there. They agreed to, continue with his current setbacks if he were to take that building down. And he since come in and picked up a demo permit. With that demo permit, he has to get asbestos, abatement reports and so on and so forth. So I'm kind of hoping in the next month or two that comes down. And then kind of clear that lot up a little bit and then, pave the way for him to hopefully move forward, Well, his project's being held up by the state right now.
I was just gonna say, what's the DOT?
So the
issue?
state DOT is just, they've got distances, and I think the state's kind of basically slow with everything they've been doing lately. And I think anybody knows that they deal with them often, they'll realize that that's the case. So they're dealing with some stuff that, but if he can jump through those hoops, hopefully he can get moving there
Really nice.
and put something up. I don't care what it is, but something that needs to be, not that eyesore there. So I'd be happy if it's down. The one next to
I was
McDonald's,
gonna say the old
we
lumber.
talked to him a bit. Hopefully we can, he's either the guy who's gonna push to try to sell the property or, I'm at some point, I'm gonna see if I can get him to come in and see if I can get him to take that down too somehow. It's just another eyesore. It's lending to some people begging at five corners, and it's time to
Yeah.
change that.
Yeah.
So hopefully he'll be in, as well, and we can clean that up, but one day at a time, we'll start cleaning these lots up. So the senior overlay, so I've had, as you can imagine, I've had a number of developers come in and speak to me in reference to planning board projects they've had to have approved, or things that they're looking for approval, people that want to build. I've had a couple people that talk to me in reference to maybe doing senior housing again, one or two senior housing complexes in town. The only problem right now, back in, I think it was around 2014-ish, the senior housing overlay in the entire town was removed. What happened was, I believe it was right around when they redid the airport zoning for the casino. They removed the senior overlay, saying that we pretty much met our quota for senior housing in town, so they did away with this overlay. The overlay encompassed from the thruway overpass east, the entire rest of the town here. I'm just looking to see, just kind of get some input and see what you guys think about, perhaps maybe bringing, that overlay back. For either the town or specific areas we can shoot at. I think it's I had one of the guy that owns, the two senior houses in New Windsor now, John Manobon, in the other day. Spoke to him a bit. He said he would maybe consider building again. I actually spoke to another developer, said he would, perhaps build them too. I really, really like to see if we can get some guarantees that they're filled with New Windsor people, which is, tough. You go in a lot of them today, they're who's from Warwick and who's from Goshen and who's, I get it, but I also get a lot of calls asking if I know anybody or have any hooks in the current senior housings to see if I can get their mom in or their grandmother. And quite frankly, it's income driven. So it's tough to kind of get that, because they get money funds from either the government or the state. So they're governed by those numbers. So if I can get them to build something, but we somehow get some guarantees or a percentage of it's New Windsor people, I think that'd be awesome. I don't know what you guys think, but I think, we do have a number of, people that are getting up, and I think that would enjoy it. And I know like probably 15 people that literally just can't get in these because there's waiting lists for them. So I think it'd be a real good idea to consider. We have, Dave gave me we do have a senior housing overlay. We had it in the old, in 2010. This was the local law then. So I think it'd be I think it's, it's easy to sit behind a desk and say, but it seems to be an easier lift because we already have it. Maybe some copy and paste and some editing a little and passing something to see if we can get some, and I believe that ultimately, and Dave, correct me if I'm wrong, if a developer comes in and they want senior housing, it would still be by a special use permit. by the town board, so town board would have to approve it before it would go to the planning board anyway.
That's the way that local law was
Look,
drafted, so if
so-
you wanted to do it in the same way, then yes.
Which, so there's not just, 50 of them popping up, and I think, we would, kind of steer that ship on how we want it, and where we want it, if you will. And there is a couple of people that are willing to do it, so I know there's, right now, there's two, it looks like maybe convalescent homes that are in the pipeline that people want to see, they want to build.
What kind of?
Convalescent homes for almost like,
like,
like nursing, not nursing, but almost like
rehabs or
short-term
something?
rehabs or short-term care, if you will. So, they're in the talks right now through the planning stage, so.
So you said there's developers that haven't mentioned that they'd be interested in doing senior.
Yeah,
housing? Okay.
yeah, and I don't know, for me, the two senior housings we have now are in proximity to the Vales Gate area. I know when the thought and idea then was a lot of foot traffic. A lot of people walk in, so let's do it close to Vales Gate. I think now with, the ride shares and Ubers and family and, people shop from home and they get delivered to them, that a lot of people are really not, that walking thing is, although it's nice there, unfortunately, Rite Aid left, so
Yeah,
that kind of was a
that's tough.
store
Yeah.
thing for them,
Mhm.
which is, obviously.
You're better off closer to like a park or something, don't you think?
Yeah, I mean, the one spot they were talking about
Highway.
down on 32, it's close to, so it's actually the old Duffers, the people are looking at perhaps there. Which is, it's obviously not walking to anything, but it's,
Yeah, you're not walking on that, they're not walking on the edge of 32 there. that's for
no,
sure.
no, but like I said, you go to these
Buses
senior
and
housings, a lot of
yeah.
them, during the election stage, I went and visited a lot of them. And there's a lot of cars there. A lot of them are driving, I mean,
Yeah,
a lot do drive, and the ones
no
that
doubt.
don't, either are local people, have some family, or they'll get, get the Cornwall dial bus that comes get them or something, so.
They need to make like a walking path through like the campus, you know what I mean, where it goes around the property, because that's what they do. They go out and they walk and
I
they
think
just
your
get
point, I
exercise.
think your
Yeah,
point is
going
well
across
made, with
path.
the right conditions, you
Yeah,
wanna make sure you've got
I think you're right. They're
some
not,
of your local people here.
people are like walking
I
downtown Vales
certainly
Gate. I mean, it's not
support
really
that.
happening.
Nah, it's not. And like I said, I've seen a couple cross the street there with their carts and they get out for exercise. I know the senior court has, sidewalks that go around the place. They're all out back watching us build our firehouse, so it's,
That's cool.
but yeah, no, it's, I don't know, like I said, we'll, I'll probably throw it up for another conversation or maybe,
Yeah,
you
we
know,
should.
we'll do a little more work on it and see if
Yeah,
we can't.
good thinking.
Well, so, monthly, we have our infrastructure meetings. I'm gonna, bring it up to them again and, make sure we got all our T's crossed, I's dotted, and we'll throw it back at us. And this one here, this sidewalk thing, to mention Rite Aid, and the reason I have it on here is because we're gonna probably have to do some sort of, addition to the town code here. So, the last snowstorm we had, Rite Aid and that old, car lot right across from Foam and Wash, just up from the Vales Gate Firehouse on the corner there, that kind of abandoned car lot.
Mm.
Both property owners didn't clear the snow off their sidewalks from the last storm. It was, I got a number of phone calls on it. The building department got phone calls on it. So I actually sent over the buildings and grounds guys, and in our town code, it says highway department to clean it. I just didn't, and I didn't even call Anthony. The reason being is because the one last storm we had was hours and hours long. It was a very long storm. And these guys have it where, they can work so many hours and then they have to get some downtime and rest. And I was going to make them go shovel a sidewalk. So I called the buildings and grounds guys and they ran over and they cleaned the sidewalks up. Our town code specifically has the mechanism of the highway department doing it. So we need to edit this code to allow, and it says 12 hours after, and that was the problem too. You got guys like the highway guys are plowing all day, they go home and sleep. To call them back in and start shoveling the sidewalk, we had the buildings and grounds guy do it, so we have to change this code to allow for that mechanism for us to bill, so it'll end up going on their taxes. It ended up being like close to, well, the bill I got for it ended up being close to $500. $507.04 for $253 for each business that we're charging from the town to do it.
I'm curious why it falls on the highway department, why not the private property owner?
So it is the private property owner, but they're both abandoned.
Yeah,
They're
Oh,
both
so
abandoned
it was like-
properties and we have,
oh.
so
Yeah,
Rite
it-
Aid.
It's only if it's
default.
abandoned.
Yeah,
okay.
so Rite Aid was, so, and it's the in the New Windsor Town Code, any sidewalks that front your properties, regardless of whether it be commercial or residential, you're responsible. for
Right,
cleaning.
okay.
And Rite Aid, just their landscaper, not only didn't do their, parking lot plow it, but they didn't do
Didn't do the
sidewalks. Again, we have some older folks walking around there and had to get out in the road and walk down the road. So I just sent the buildings and grounds guys to clean it up so I can keep people out of
We
the
still
street,
have
keep 'em on the
somebody that
sidewalk.
we can fee for that? I mean, is there still?
So we can, this can be
Yeah.
charged them,
I don't know about
however.
the car lot, but I was thinking at least you'll write it.
Yeah, I mean, we made some phone
Yeah,
calls to
good.
make sure they do it. Quite frankly, it gets put on their taxes. So if they don't pay the bill and, most of these people are like, they'll phone it off on the next person they sell the property to. So they really don't, they don't care, if you will. I'm sure they probably didn't even think about it. They went bankrupt, they cut their services off. And
Yeah, but we get whole, we'll get whole.
no, we will.
Right.
We'll end up getting for it. But like I said, the mechanism, if they were to challenge it, the mechanism here is for the
Yeah,
highway
yeah.
department. And I'd rather not, these guys are out plowing for hours and hours and hours.
Yeah,
I'd rather
no, I
not bring
get
them,
that.
have to call them in.
I
They have to go
appreciate the building guy.
Shovel-
Contract out.
shovel a sidewalk. So, we could use our buildings and grounds guys to do it and then bill for it. Like we're gonna bill anyway. They challenge it. That's, it's a challenge.
Have you looked at that property lately?
Which one?
The corner, the used car lot?
Oh,
Did you see the Mercedes sunk into the
Yeah,
ground?
yeah,
It's like in the ground, like about a foot and a half.
So that we have some works for that too, to have them clear that up. They're cleaning up a couple spots around there that I've asked for them to pay some attention
Listen,
to.
you get rid of the Hess, everybody's gonna, it's
Don't
gonna
put
be
the
to the
cars
next
there.
one, yeah.
Exactly. No, believe me, I'm already doing, we're picking on some people to start cleaning some things up.
Yeah.
It's starting to get, it needs to be attention paid. So you're gonna probably see that soon to get that, and hopefully the people that are listening don't realize that it's your responsibility. As you probably saw in our some of our notifications, Patty has graciously enough decided to, and I believe with maybe her deputy, to open up so what we're gonna do is she's gonna start this Thursday. She's gonna open late till 6 o'clock each night. Just to, for those folks that work, that can't make it in the regular business hours. I believe there's some research that they say Thursdays is usually the day that people like to come. I don't know why, but there's some reason for it. So she's gonna be doing that starting this Thursday at 6 o'clock, and then every second Saturday, and that's the second Saturday will be this Saturday, the 9th, from 12 or 9 to 12. So there will be extra hours for that. And I guess why we're there. So I don't know if you guys have seen, if maybe you take a stroll up in the front, we've changed the whole foyer here. We kind of demoed it a bit and it came out good. So when you walk in the front foyer there's 2 monitors in there now, and the monitors have scrolling messages on them that you can put your phone on and scan and bring it to the dog park or recreation stuff. I know Eve didn't have a hand in creating any documents yet, but so they're right outside the clerk's window and their receiver taxes window. So they receive, one of them's gonna have this stuff and the other one's gonna have all recreation stuff on it. Kind of get rid of some, well, not all the pamphlets, but some of them. Not everybody has cell phones, I get it, but those that do will have I don't know, and I want to thank Patrick too. Patrick spent a lot of time on this for me to get the monitors up and get these things together. But it's pretty nice. You got to go up and check it out. It's the whole way came out really good. We all the former supervisors got all new frames. We kind of modernized that a little bit. You have to go see it. I was all excited. There's a 250 year time capsule up there that was a little old. So I said, all right, it's time to break it open. Not a thing in it. So
200 years
yeah, it was
old?
250 year time capsule. I actually called our historian and he said, yeah, we that was donated to us from a funeral home and we were meant to fill it, but we never did. I'm like, I was all excited. I'm like, all right, so but yeah, so that's the stuff on the board. You'll see
I think you gotta start a new one now.
we got
Well,
well
250 years.
so that might
He
be
called the guy that knew it went in it. Was he 260
Yeah,
years old? I mean,
exactly.
what?
that was for that's maybe in the although I'm getting some pushback. I'd like to see when I do this digital sign in the next month or so that we create a little vault for that to do it, but I'm getting pushback on that. Hopefully I'll win that argument. The Stewart Gym. So I had the buildings and grounds supervisor go out and spend a couple of bucks on 2 signs. They put 2 4x8 sheet signs for sale up there. And probably in the first week, my phone rang off the hook. and reference, hey, I want to buy it, I want to buy it, I want to buy it. So I had two offers in writing. Like, I guess you would call it a cash offer, and then another offer that they put in writing. So after I got them, I was talking to the attorney Dave, and I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna probably just go out to bid for this. I'd rather just some of the the offers that were, I knew one of the real estate agents with it, and I just didn't want it to look like it was underhanded. So I'd rather see it go out to bid and see if we can get some offers. I gave I don't know if I gave it in that packet there. I think you guys got an email. Todd did a did evaluation on it. I'm not gonna throw the number out there because I don't want to public, because I don't want people, but Todd put a number on it for me. He actually spent, if you look at it, it's some, like, Todd, when you ask him to do something, he does it thorough. He did comparisons and everything, put a number on it. Number was actually a little higher than he anticipated and higher than the last time we had. So, I think in the next month or so, I'm gonna, Dave's just got some other pressing stuff to work on, and then we'll probably just go out to bid for that and see if we can come back with a decent number. If we can, we'll throw that back into our recreation fund, if you will. Everybody good with that, or good for unloading it? We walked through it. It's time. It had its useful life. Especially when I used to go there when I first got hired. So I gave you guys two, this volunteer fireman tax exemption. Really fireman and ambulance tax exemption. So I got a couple of phone calls, this 466A. I got a couple of phone calls from a couple of firemen, if you will, who were asking about this. So any of these have to be passed by March 1st, before March 1st, in order to be entitled to this. If you remember a year or so ago, this came up where the state passed a new exemption for this, and it allows you for the school taxes too. The old one didn't. It was just allowed for the local and state taxes. So there's the benefit would be, the best benefit would be the school taxes, because it's your highest tax, obviously. The state tax you get out of it, if you do your income taxes, you get a $300 rebate, if you will, on your income tax if you say you're a volunteer fireman, which is this particular law we have on file now is probably less than that $300. So a lot of people, you can't take both. A lot of people take the $300 deduction when you're doing your taxes rather than going to the assessor's office and asking for this. This here is capped at $3,000, would benefit those volunteers or emergency service workers, ambulance, and volunteer firemen. Now we have a couple of fire districts that we cover here too. You got New Windsor, you got Valesgate, you got Salisbury, and I've gotten calls for all of them. We've had this local law for probably 20 years. There's probably 25, 30 firemen that are on it now that get the local tax exemption. The Newburgh School District has not passed this. The Washingtonville School District has. So, of course, the Salisbury people that are out that end that go to the Washingtonville School District or would like to see this.
What about Cornwall?
I'm not certain. I don't think Cornwall does. And I got to be honest with you, the fire departments need to really court those school districts to pressure them to do it. If I had to guess, I would say the Newburgh School District's probably not going to do it, even if they courted it. This is just my guess. I don't want to speak for them, but they just opted out of the 45B, so they're looking for revenue, not looking to give it up. Even though this is revenue neutral, because you take it away from one, it gets spread out to the rest of the people. But our volunteers are obviously important to us. So, and the current one they enjoy now is it's not much. I mean, I'm telling you, if it's $20 on some of the tax rates, it's not much. But the school district would be good. This has got to be passed before next year.
Yeah, because you said March 1st, that's what I was gonna ask.
So even though it's past March 1st now, this has got to be done by 25. So you're going to probably see this pop up in the next month or two, couple months for us to, at least vote on it. You guys want to have any? I think I gave you stuff. If you want more on it, let me know. We can talk about more and we can go from there. This alienation of parklands, this has been God, I can't wait for this to be over with.
Mhm.
So as I'm sure we all know, we've explained a few times, so there's. We have this, and the reason this got brought into light here was this new sewer plant we're looking to do. The new sewer plant, the footprint it's on right now, we need a little more of the property in order to expand our plant. That property abuts parkland property that the town owns, that goes into Butter Hill Park. If not all of this is all woods, if you will. There's no open fields and nothing like that. Most of this is woods. So we have to alienate a portion of this property. And they ask you to replace it with a equal to or greater portion of the property. And this has to go through the whole process. It's a long process through the state. And so we've identified there's 17.62 acres down by the sewer plant that we're gonna alienate. That's gonna go from parklands to our property in reference to us doing this. And we're gonna replace it with 83.24 acres. And it's on both footprints. The 83 acres, of that 83 acres, 74 of it's coming from Christie Babcock Park. So you got 74 acres there and another 8 acres down by the sewer plant. That's gonna be part of the parklands. Again, we're kind of shifting some parklands. More of a paperwork shuffle, honestly. It's not, I say it's been a heavy lift because it's just time consuming. Dave's spent a lot of time on this in reference to, we gotta have the ECAS involved, we have to have Scoofus involved. We're back and forth with, he's doing that through their offices now. They have to, have a bill, and once the bill's done and they alienate it, again, this is a heavier lift and this takes a couple months and we're trying to get this done with. So there's gonna be a motion for this to get this going and have us,
I just want to clarify, so the 74 acres that we're swapping or replacing with at Christie Babcock, that wasn't parkland before?
so it's not, so that was donated by a developer to allow that Meadowbrook Estates out there, and when they donated, they flipped it to us, and it's just our land now. It's deeded to us, right, Dave? So it's deeded to us and it's not parkland, so we're actually gonna make it parklands and therefore making it where it's gotta be used for parklands now. We
So we
can't
can use
sell
it
it
how we wish to expand.
for
the park,
expansion
we'll
of the park,
talk about
yep,
that.
100%, and it's actually a prime spot for us to
Right.
do this, so.
Yep.
This is gonna work out well for us, if you will. So that, you'll see that motion for that. And the last thing in the public section is the SOBU, which is the Superior Officers Bargaining Unit. So as you know, last month we passed the PBA contract of Police Benevolent, and we passed the CSEA, the two contracts. And with that comes the last contract, which is the Superior Officers, which encompasses the chief and the 2 lieutenants. And we've been negotiating and bargaining back and forth with them for the last, maybe a week or so, dribs and drabs, because who's busy and who's not around. Due to some time constraints, you guys got it in a red line version, you didn't get an MOU because the paralegal in that office is on vacation now, and she wasn't totally 100% done with it, and basically ran out of time. So I will have a draft form for us to authorize for me to sign it, but it's this red line form. It's just not the MOU, if you will. It's this red line form. That's what you'll see in the motion, and I'll read to you a little bit. It just says that it's pretty much the entirety of how you got the red line version. And then we'll go from there. If you guys have any questions, I know you guys just got this red line version, so if you want to
Yeah.
take a peek at it, we could talk about it a little more and later if you want, or you got any questions, you can look at it. And let me know what you think, and then it's the last people that we're gonna do this contract with. It's a 4-year deal. They're basically getting the exact same thing that the PBA gets, but in their version. So. Anything else on that? Anybody got any questions on this? Or any of the stuff on the agenda before I close it out? We'll leave the folks. No, nothing. Good, Charlie. No,
I went through it.
cool. Sylvia, you good?
Okay,
Steve,
thank you.
Steve, good.
Make
Cool.
a motion to go to executive.
Yes, motion by Steve, second by Charlie. We go to executive session. Thank you, folks. We appreciate your